All right. So, good afternoon, everybody. I am Val Mohney, editor of the Huckleberry Press, and I'm really excited today because we get to talk with Chris Grover, who is the second term mayor of Cheney. And as people know, or I like to think they know, we like to focus on people that make a real difference in the community. And Chris Grover, together with his team, is definitely one of those people. So
I
I'm excited to talk to you, Chris. Welcome.
thank you for having me.
Uh, our pleasure. And I'm just going to give a shout out to Mark Losh and the West Plains Chamber of Commerce, without whom this conversation would not have happened. So thank you, Mark, and thank you to the West Plains Chamber. So, Chris, how did you get your start being a mayor? It's not a path that everyone chooses. How did you get going down that road?
Great question, Val. I didn't uh, wake up one day and think, well, I want to be the mayor. I my dad was in the Air Force and moved us here in the '70s, so I did all my teenage growing up in the city of Cheney, so I consider Cheney my home. But I went in the Navy for 23 years. Came back periodically to visit friends and family. When I retired in 2008, I it just when I got my house in Cheney and I started living back in Cheney full time, I realized again, it just reiterated how great of a city this is. So I went down to City Hall once and I said, "Hey, I want to help. I want to be a part of the community." So the mayor at the time appointed me as a planning commission member. Did that for 5 years. And that's a great opportunity to learn zoning and some, the ins and outs of land use and that sort of thing. Kind of got my feet wet. And then I thought, well, I want to be a city council member. So I put my name in the ballot and got elected. And then the next step, I just felt I just enjoyed myself so much volunteering and being a part of the community. And I thought we were doing a great job. We were really making a difference here, and I wanted to be a part of that. And along the way, that 9 years of planning commission and city council, um, I, it's just amazing the level of expertise of the folks that work in the city of Cheney. The city administrator, the department heads, everybody has that same mentality of serving their community, and I just enjoyed being a part of that, which led to me applying or filing my candidacy to be the mayor. And I enjoy it every day. I get up and I think, well, how can we better serve our community? And I kind of blame my mom for this because my mom is always, as kids, she's always said, "Hey, do something in the community, volunteer, whether it's picking up garbage or, volunteering at the school district, whatever that is, do something to support your community." And that's just stuck with me. Hence the reason probably why I served in the military for 23 years. But yeah, I kind of went on a soapbox there, but yeah, I enjoy it. I still have a day job, but when I'm done with my day job, I enjoy going down to City Hall and seeing, okay, where are we at? What are we doing? What can we do? How can we do things better?
Right
But I
on.
can't do it alone. It's the team around me that really makes it satisfying for me to get up and do my job.
And I acknowledge you for the difference that you make and the team that you lead. Um, I know that you like to take walks in your neighborhood. What
Yeah.
are a couple of the things you like best about the Cheney community?
Well, it's diverse. I try to walk 3 or 4 miles every morning, and I go to different areas of the city. And the neighborhoods are a little different. They look a little different. They feel a little different, but there's that sense of this is Cheney. So I love walking through Eastern Washington University's campus, uh, which leads me to one of the city's parks, which I love that park. I love all their parks. And again, it's just diverse. The different areas of Cheney, there's just a diverse look, feel, but there's always that sense of community and we're all Cheney, right? So I don't know if that answered your question, but it's just, especially now with the weather being like it is, it's beautiful to get out and tour the city.
I bet. I think Cheney is a beautiful place.
It is.
What are some of the things that you have coming up in Cheney? I know you're working on a lot and a couple of major events. Do you want to speak to those?
Sure. And it's, the events that are coming up are volunteer driven. Nonprofit organizations like the Cheney Mayfest organization. Cheney Mayfest is coming up, and this is next weekend, where it's an opportunity for tons of vendors to come downtown. We've got a band coming, a kids zone, a huge sandbox, cornhole tournament, an art alleyway. We take one of our alleyways and allow artists to showcase their artwork, petting zoo, stuff like that. But it's a small group of volunteers that are part of the Cheney Mayfest organization that really run this. The City of Cheney supports them in, serving, closing off the streets and making sure it's safe and all. But I think the citizens of Cheney look forward to this, especially because the weather's nice. Everybody can get out. We can frequent our local businesses downtown, meet people that you may not have met before in Cheney. And again, it's a very diverse group of people will come down, and folks that maybe you wouldn't normally run into, but you get an opportunity to interact with folks in Cheney.
And when exactly is Cheney Mayfest?
Next Friday and Saturday was at the 12th and the 13th.
Right on.
Yep.
And if people want to find out about Cheney Mayfest, where should we send them?
The best place would be cheneymayfest.org, the website. You can sign up for the cornhole tournament. It gives all the sponsors, all the local businesses that are helping sponsor this event, and then kind of a rundown of what to expect, things to do.
All right. So we got Cheney Mayfest, which is exciting. And then you mentioned a couple of different things. I think one of them was a rodeo. Is that right?
The Cheney Rodeo comes here every year, and that's the second weekend of July. Brings a ton of people into our town. And it's an event. Unfortunately, the rodeo grounds are not in the city of Cheney, but it's just on the outskirts. But boy, I tell you, we've got the rodeo parade comes through. It's a 3-day event, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Last year, I believe they ran out of tickets. So if you didn't get your ticket early, unfortunately, you weren't going to be able to go in and see it. So that's the popularity of this. And they're professional rodeo folks. So there's a lot of vibrancy and a lot of excitement in the city, for sure.
I love rodeos, and I'm sorry that the phone is ringing.
No worries. We're all busy people.
Well, now I know I should mute that in the future or unplug it. At any rate,
our Cheney Members Association, they put on what's called a holiday hoopla in the fall, or actually it's in November, December timeframe, and it's the fire trucks will come through with Santa Claus, and we'll do caroling and that sort of thing. We get to light the Christmas tree downtown, and that's a neat event as well. And again, it's the events that just bring people down into historic downtown, and it's an opportunity for the community to get together and celebrate whatever we're celebrating at the time.
Very cool. Cheney has always occurred for me as a thriving place.
Yeah, it's a wonderful place to live and raise your family. That's for sure.
So I also know that Mark Losh wanted us to talk about some initiatives that are going on in Cheney. What do you have going on in that ballpark?
There's a lot of initiatives. So, like I mentioned before, when I get up in the morning, the first priority of the City of Cheney is to continue to provide a high level of service, public safety, water, sewer, power, you name it, at a reasonable cost. So we're always focused on that. Other priorities that we may need a little bit of help from our legislators. Water has always been an issue, not an issue, but a challenge that I think we're overcoming. And one of our big initiatives is a water reclamation or water reuse project, whereby we filter our wastewater to a point where we can rerun it pipe it through the city to irrigate our parks, the Cheney School District play fields, ball fields, and potentially even the green space up at Eastern. But those are big water users. And right now they're irrigating with domestic water, with potable water. This would be an opportunity to reuse water for those big water users and reduce the strain that's on our domestic water system. That's a huge initiative. We're in the red zone. We're not quite in the end zone, but we're in the red zone. But we'll get there. Another focus in the last 6-8 months, we've been really focusing on collaborating with our other sister cities. So Medical Lake, Airway Heights, even the county and others, but really getting together and collaborating on how can we share resources, pool our resources, because we're all in this together. And the West Plains is growing up significantly. So it behooves us all to get together and be on the same table and share our challenges. How can we share ideas, sometimes even share resources? And a good example would be the City of Airway Heights and the City of Cheney got together. Airway Heights submitted a grant application with our support for a behavioral health person to go with our first responders. And we received that grant. Airway Heights received that grant, but it's a resource that's going to be available to not only Airway Heights, but the City of Cheney and potentially Medical Lake as well.
Oh, wow.
So that's just one example of how our cities can collaborate and partner together. And going forward, again, as the West Plains continues to grow, that's where we need to be. We all need to be at the same table. A couple other things. Pool, we're going to put on the ballot this year, a ballot measure to potentially build a new pool, and because it's an expensive project and we'll probably have to go into a little bit of debt for this, needs citizen approval. We hired a consultant to do some design concepts for us. I had to shut the pool down a couple of years ago, and it broke my heart to do it. I didn't take it lightly because I swam in that pool as a child. But it got to a point that for safety reasons, I had to shut it down. But a shout out to our folks that work for the City of Cheney that maintained that pool well past its shelf life. It was a 57-year-old pool.
Wow.
So that's a focus. We're doing a land quantity or quality analysis of the whole city to see, okay, what's the best use of all the land and how should it be zoned? Do we have too much light industrial, for instance, versus multifamily, that sort of thing. So we're holistic look at the city on how can we grow smartly. And of course we have to partner with others for that as well. What else? There's a ton of other things. Outside of the city, we have a good relationship with our local legislators, and I want to thank them for helping us with some of these projects that I brought up. Partnering with District 6, Legislative District 6, in the Spokane County on the 904 is a 5-mile route between the City of Cheney and I-90, and maybe how can we better use that land and make it more safe.
You've got a lot going on, which is no surprise.
And that was just a couple things. When I say partnerships with the West Plains City, I'd be remiss if I didn't say partnering with Eastern Washington University as well. It makes sense that we're partnered together too.
Right on. Well, thank you for everything that you do. Again, I acknowledge you for all the things that are seen and a lot that are unseen that you do. Like we were talking about earlier, I'm sure when everything's running smoothly, you never hear about it. But the second something goes sideways, I'm
That's right.
confident you get all kinds of feedback. And I can tell you're dealing with that with grace. And I appreciate the difference you make. So thanks for your time today. And
I appreciate it, Val. And again, like if I could just, it's the whole team. It's not just the mayor. It's everybody. We all really do have a love for this city, and we really work hard to make a difference.
Very good. If you're viewing this, be sure to check out our website where we have a full article about Chris and what's coming up and the initiatives. And you can find that at huckleberrypress.com. And Chris, thank you very much. I
Thank you,
really
Val.
appreciate your time.
And I appreciate yours as well, sir.
Thank you.